Hi guys! Today I want to talk about caring too much. I feel like I've always identified as someone who cares a lot, and there are moments in my life where I've felt like I care a little bit too much. I don't like it when there are misunderstandings between me and someone else, and I am going to be taking the steps to become someone who is okay with people misunderstanding her. But at this moment, I recognize that I hate when people misunderstand me. I hate when people have the wrong impression of me. I recently had a discussion with someone. There was a misunderstanding between us. This has been weighing my mind, like it has been triggering a lot of anxiety. So that's why I wanted to clear the air, even though I genuinely didn't feel like it was my responsibility. This person was very dismissive. They made it seem like they didn't care about what I was talking about, that they just thought about it for a little while and then just dropped it because it wasn't important. Now, I must say that that is a lie, because our mutual friends, they have told me how this person is complaining constantly about this misunderstanding. But just hearing someone tell me that what has been such a big deal for me is not a big deal for them just made me want to cry. Because it's just the idea of, you know what, I am wrong. Here I go again, feeling too much, caring too much, when I shouldn't have, and I just wish it wasn't like this. I'd have an easier time if I just didn't care. And when I look at people who don't care, it looks like it's so easy for them to be so unbothered by the situation. I end up questioning myself on, why is it so hard for me? Why is it so hard for me to not care? Why do I have to care? Why do I have to think about it constantly? Why does it have to trigger me? Why do I feel the need to clear the air? I'm sure I've talked in another episode about how I have this desire for everyone to like me, because I've had experiences that whenever someone doesn't like me, they do something that makes me feel very unsafe. And this has been something that I've experienced since I was like 7-8 years old, and it has been reinforced in different experiences throughout my life. Right now, it's been a very emotional week for me. I've been feeling a lot. And to be honest, in the past few months, I've had at least more than one experience where I feel like I care too much, or just there's just something that has been triggering my anxiety regarding this area. It sucks. It sucks that people don't like you. And I do realize that I have to accept the fact that not everyone will like me. But not only do I have to accept that, I also have to accept how unrealistic it is to expect everyone to like me. It's just not possible. It's not possible, because with some people you're going to be a much better fit than you will be with other people. And that does not mean that you're wrong or that they are wrong. It just means that it's not a fit. Now, with this one person I had that discussion with, I don't think anything negative about her. I feel very dismissed. I feel like it's very unfair. Like, they're taking things out of context and then they're blaming me. They're not even giving me like the space to explain what happened, so I can't even defend myself. And I come to realize, like, I don't have to defend myself. I am who I am, and I'm getting to know who I am. And what I know so far of myself, I'm proud of myself. In high school, I would talk shit. Not about everyone, just specifically the people that I didn't get along with. But even now, whenever I don't get along with someone, I assume that God has something better for me and for them, and that maybe we just outgrew each other, or it's just not meant to be. So I've changed a lot, and I feel very proud of myself. I still feel very conflicted when someone doubts my character. With this specific situation that's happening right now, it's moments like this where I have to accept the fact that there are going to be some people that want to misunderstand me. They're going to want to believe the negative things about me, fake things about me. They're just not going to want to have something with me. And that has nothing to do with who I am, but who they are. Maybe they had experiences in their past that led them into them reacting this way, and it has nothing to do with me. Because at the end of the day, we treat people based on who we are rather than who they are. So for example, the reason I reached out to this person to clear the misunderstanding, it's just because that's just who I am. And if they had come to me with the misunderstanding, I would have reacted or handled the conversation the way that I always do. And something my best friend made me realize, sometimes I'm just looking for myself in other people. I'm looking for someone who wants to fix things and who just wants everyone to be okay with everyone. But some people are okay with having problems with other people. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not my preference. Like, I just don't share that. And it sucks and it's uncomfortable. Because this person literally told me, like, I had it in my mind, but I dropped it because it wasn't that important. Like, I barely even remembered it. And that just felt very harsh because this has been something that has been making me feel quite anxious. I was telling myself, like, if only I was as unbothered as her, I wouldn't care as much and I wouldn't have ended up reaching out. The part of me is so, I don't want to say embarrassed, but more like shy towards the fact that I most likely gave the impression that I cared, and I feel like she's gonna take that and she's gonna make fun of the fact that I cared. So like her being like, oh, she's so stupid, I cannot believe she cared about this, I didn't even care about this. And it's so, like, I don't think I've ever actually heard people express themselves this way, but that's exactly how it feels. In 2023, I went out on a date with a guy and it was like the perfect date, and we stopped talking. Not my choice, but we stopped talking, and that just kind of like triggered my anxious attachment. I was afraid of the guy making fun of the fact that I wanted to keep talking when he didn't. I always imagined him like, oh, Isabella is so stupid, I'm so embarrassed for her, like she wanted to go out on a second date when I didn't, like that must be embarrassing for her. Most likely he never had that thought, because that thought was not his, it was mine. I felt like I was inferior to him because I wanted something and he didn't want it. It's kind of the same thing as saying like, the one who falls in love loses. Being scared of showing interest, because if you show too much interest and the other person is not as interested, they're gonna make fun of how interested you are. And that's why a lot of people are hiding their emotions, or hiding their feelings, or hiding their interests, and they're not being open. They're pretending to be nonchalant when in reality they're very chalant. I realize right now, me feeling shy and thinking, oh, she's gonna make fun of me and the fact that I care too much and that I reached out. That's not her thought, that's my thought, because I've always placed people who don't care in a pedestal, and I've blamed myself for having emotions and for not being able to just shut them down. I've blamed myself for crying a little bit too much after a breakup, or crying a little bit too much after a fight with a friend. I've blamed myself for overthinking something when the other person probably just wasn't thinking about me at all, and just thinking, I am making this such a huge deal when the other person is not. That being said, we give meaning to things, so that does play a factor on it, but at the same time, we don't get to decide what makes us upset, but we do get to decide how we react to it. But I was thinking, the first time I started having issues with my best friend, we didn't really know how to communicate. My love language at that moment was quality time. So because I was seeing her hang out with someone else, I thought she loved her more than me, and that just made me very insecure. I didn't know it was insecurity. I thought it was just like jealousy. It was really hard for me. Like when I ended up actually communicating with her, it was very emotional conversation for both of us, because she was also triggered about other stuff. When I realized from my perspective, like everything that was going on, I just felt like crying, because at the core, I loved my best friend and I didn't want to lose her, and I felt like I was losing her, but I didn't know how to communicate that. So when I was able to be open about it, she welcomed me with open arms. She was extremely understanding. I was actually browsing through our chat, like I went back to that conversation just to see what I told her, and this is what I said. So I was praying a few minutes before, like when I sent this, and I have been feeling a lot of emotions lately, and they feel overwhelming to me. They feel like a lot. But I understand where they come from, because it's rooted from feeling unloved, unsafe, and invalidated. So obviously as a human, I will have big emotions to those things, and it feels a lot for me, which is why I feel like it may be a lot for you too. And part of me knows that I shouldn't apologize, but I am sorry if my emotions feels like too much to deal with. And I don't know, I'm just sorry if it's a lot for you. Like, if you get a thought that's like, it's just easier to live my life without Isa as my best friend, I'm sorry, I don't want to be too much for you, I don't want to overwhelm you, so I'm afraid that I'm making you feel that way too. And then, I feel like crying. She replied to the message where I said, I don't want to be too much for you, and she said, you are all that I need. no, Isa, I love you and I really care for you, and I didn't want to say that you make me feel overwhelmed by saying some things or that you make me feel hurt. Don't say you have too many emotions, because I am very sensitive too, and isn't that great? Let's work together and find out ways so you don't feel overwhelmed. And I am not going to leave you just because you have a lot of emotions. Of course you will. You are a human being, and only because you have strong emotions, you have so much love and care and support and so many great things. I feel like who I am as a person speaks a lot to who my best friend is, and vice versa. And my best friend has had friends who don't really care about her feelings or make her feel like she's being too sensitive, and I just feel so happy that she doesn't feel that way with me. And that just made me realize, like, you're never going to be too much with the right person. It sucks that a lot of people you're going to meet, whether they're just coworkers or friends or partners, most of them are going to think that you're too much. But why are we thinking, oh, I'm too much, I'm the problem, just because we're comparing ourselves to them? But rather, why aren't we thinking, you know what, I think they're too little for me, so I'm gonna go and I'm not gonna waste any time thinking about them, because I have so much love and I don't want to spend it on someone who's not going to appreciate it. That being said, you should not limit yourself to who you love and who you don't love, because every amount of love that you give, whether they appreciate it or not, it's definitely love that needed to be given. I have a lot of emotions, and it sucks sometimes, because when I am upset, it feels like I'm always going to be upset for the rest of my life. It feels like my heart is just really tiny and someone stepped on it. But when I'm happy, I feel so happy, so blessed, so loved, and so appreciated. So I don't think I care too much. I think I just care, and I would 100% or 1,000 times would rather be someone who cares than someone who doesn't care. Like, if you're someone who doesn't care, you are missing out. Yeah, you can go around life doing that and you probably won't ever feel safe, or you can work on yourself and heal and feel. You're going to find people who are worth feeling things for. Being who I am, caring a lot, or just caring, allows me to enjoy friendships, relationships, allows me to enjoy life. And yes, I'm gonna be dealing with people who don't care, and that's just something that I have to accept. That is something that I have to work on. I have to work on accepting that not everyone's gonna care like me, but that's okay, because people not caring does not mean that I am wrong for caring, and does not mean that I should care less. It just means that I should redirect my focus. If I'm a person who cares, I'm not gonna be caring less just because someone feels uncomfortable. If you're someone who cares too much, amazing. When you meet the right people who care just as much as you do, you're gonna be so happy that you're someone who cares. And you're going to realize, thank God I don't have people in my life who don't care. Because at this point, I think I just want to surround myself with people who care. Because caring is cool. I don't care what society says. Caring is cool. Showing interest is cool. Being genuine is cool. And if you don't like it, don't talk to me. Go find less. Go be less. Okay? I feel way better after recording this episode. Anyway, I hope you guys liked it. I loved recording this, and I'm sending lots of love to everyone. Whether I know you or I don't know you, whether you like me or you don't like me, I am sending you lots of love. I encourage you to check out my social media, and please stay tuned for next week's episode. God bless you!